The great 50 days of Easter ends on Pentecost Sunday. The word Pentecost means 50th. It has its roots in the Old Testament. Pentecost was one of Israel's pilgrimage festivals. The first festival is Passover, which celebrated Israel's exodus from Egypt. And then 7 weeks later, the people of God regathered in Jerusalem to celebrate Pentecost. Initially, Pentecost marked the beginning of the wheat harvest. It also became connected with the giving of the law, or the Torah, at Mount Sinai. After his resurrection, Jesus appeared to his disciples over a period of 40 days. On the 40th day, he ascended into heaven and sat down at the right hand of the Father. The ascension is not about Jesus' absence or distance. It's about his enthronement. We believe that Jesus' reign has already begun. We are not waiting for him to become king. We are waiting for everything to come under his rule. Paul put it this way in 1 Corinthians, it is necessary for him to rule until he puts all enemies under his feet. But before Jesus ascended, he told his disciples to wait in Jerusalem for the Holy Spirit, who will empower the church in its witness, to be his kingdom emissaries in Jerusalem, Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. According to Acts 2, about 120 of Jesus' early followers were all gathered together in prayer on the day of Pentecost when the Spirit arrived in a new and powerful way, giving birth to the church and launching its kingdom mission. Part of that experience included the Spirit enabling the disciples to speak in other languages, and particularly to declare the mighty works of God in the languages of the nations that had gathered together in Jerusalem. This was in many ways a reversal of the divisions created by the Tower of Babel rebellion in Genesis, and signified that one of the things that God was doing on that day was forming a new people, a new humanity united in Jesus. And to this day, the church remains the most diverse movement in the history of the world. Yet as we know and as we have seen, our tendency is to continue to perpetuate racial, ethnic, and socio-economic divisions, forgetting that in Jesus there is neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female. Those differences are not eliminated, but in the church they are no longer to be the source of division. But this new unity and diversity is something that must be put into practice. One of the ways that we can do that in Pentecost is to befriend another follower of Jesus from a different race, ethnicity, socioeconomic class, political party, or theological tradition. Attend a midweek service from a different language or culture. Look for ways to serve a refugee family or pray for the global church. We'll often do this in our services in the weeks following Pentecost, especially in the summer. For as with Epiphany and Easter, Pentecost is a day that kicks off a season. The longest period of ordinary time follows Pentecost Sunday. But remember, ordinary does not mean unimportant. The weeks following Pentecost remind us to keep the Great Commission before us. We are to go into all nations to make disciples of Jesus. We do so in the power of the Spirit. For some, this means moving across oceans to share the gospel. For some, it means moving into a neighborhood to live intentionally. For all of us, it means praying for those in our lives who do not know Jesus, for those in our families and our friendship circles and our dormitories, apartments, and workplaces and neighborhoods. It means living in community with one another as a witness to the kingdom come. So as we observe Pentecost, may we learn to slow down to be with Jesus. May we walk with him down the ancient paths and find true rest. May we be filled with the Holy Spirit, and may our whole lives bear witness to the world to come.